Hello, and welcome to African PM channel. We will be discussing on how education is being bastardized in Africa. Education is simply defined as the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction. According to Wikipedia, it is a process of facilitating learning, or the acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, morals, beliefs, habits, and personal development. Having this at the back of our mind, it is pertinent that Africa needs serious advancement in terms of her education policy formulation for her posterity, to compete favorably globally. As simple as it seems, education curriculum in Africa is a bit obsolete compared to other continents. Education is the bedrock of innovation and industrialization. Technology advancement that is rapidly sweeping across Africa and other continent owes its success to the brain power of renowned scholars, and Africa are short of these brain as a result of her attitude towards education, or migration, which results in brain drain. Globally, it is recommended that up to 20% of budgetary allocation should go towards funding education. To put this into perspective, UNESCO in 2015 through its member states agreed on a level of educational funding of 4 to 6% of GDP, or 15 to 20% of public expenditure should go to educational sectors, but majority of African countries are yet to reach this threshold. Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "Education shall be directed to the full development of the human personality and the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms," hence, making education a fundamental human right. The twist. Africa ranks high in out-of-school children, her education system is plagued with poor funding, hence their quest to seek quality education overseas. Education is more of luxury only the rich can afford. Political elites over the years have successfully rendered the educational system obsolete through systematic corruption and misappropriation of funds. Majority of signatories to the recommended 20% annual education funding, chaired by UNESCO, are yet to implement this agreement. Unfortunately, African politicians do not see education as a priority. They starve the system of funds, then send their wards to America or Europe for qualitative and uninterrupted academic program with ill-gotten wealth, thus, leaving education and its policy in comatose. A good example of this dastardly act would be Nigerian government and academic staff union of universities. This body of professionals and Nigeria's central government has made a stoppage of the academic program yearly ritual of successive government. What is the way out? Africa and Asia haven't fared well in terms of poverty ranking index. For instance, India has held the rank of poverty capital of the world until Nigeria took over. This implies majority of their population earns below $2 per day. Africa desperately needs to up her game by lifting herself from this quagmire. It has been reiterated that education remains the bedrock of nation building. A country cannot grow above the standard it sets for her citizens. Innovations constantly evolve, hence Africa needs to beam its searchlight on research. No known groundbreaking breakthrough in either science or technology has been attributed or spearheaded by African research teams solely. The recent COVID-19 pandemic is an eye-opener for all to see the extent Africa is handicapped in terms of emergency response. The over-reliance on Western powers and international aid contributed greatly to this effect. International aids have rather made Africa the infamous overgrown baby that has refused to be weaned. Overtly, education is dependent on politics and government is responsible for its policy formulation, thus, politicians decide what and what not to be learned. It is time for Africans to shun political apathy and participate actively in electioneering process. The era of political apathy has been the bane of underdevelopment in Africa. Now is the time to pay attention to policy formulation, especially in the educational sector, to achieve a curriculum devoid of the colonial mantle, aimed at maintaining neo-colonialism. In summary, education remains the key to nation building, though the flamboyant lifestyle of politicians and the sharp negative contrast of those in the academic field have made education less desirable. It is as if hard work is never rewarded, thus, education takes the backstage when prioritizing government expenditure. Every society is a mirror of her citizens. Corruption is endemic across board, but done with impunity in Africa. Consequently, educational sector is not left out from the resultant effects of corruption, political instability, and years of neglect, hence certificates from African institutions are viewed with contempt. This does not speak well for posterity, and the international community should not be blamed if they subject African scholars to integrity test. Africa should review her education policy, old and obsolete curricula should be overhauled. Breakthrough in science and related fields comes through innovations. The only good reason to study old technology is to improve on it, or for emergency backup. Therefore, African leaders should invest and focus more on human capital development. It is the best way to move Africa forward instead of making poverty, especially intellectual poverty, a weapon to suppress and oppress the masses. It is an ill-fated wind, which profits none. A day shall come when the chicken come home to roost.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more of these contents.